Good morning, folks. I managed to get out of bed. I gotta admit, I'm feeling it. It's 4:58. I've got coffee. No beers tonight, this morning. It's a Leinster Cup, which is fitting. How is everybody? Hey, Kyle, Ross. Oh, Tim's gonna miss it. That's all right, Tim. All good, man. Showed up on time for this stream, the big V8 show. What time is it where you are, man? Hey, Bradley. The link to the game, by the way, is in the description if you guys are going to watch along. I figure we should get cracking on time. See if I can beat finishing this game before my kids get out of bed. Mark is here. How is it going, man? Better time for you this morning. Well, what time is it in Seattle at the minute? Nice cup. It is, right? It is a very nice cup. I use it regularly. 1 a.m. Holy moly. That might even be worse than what it is here. 4:59 here. Remember watching this live. Honestly, the game blew me away. Epic and Gunstar. I also remember watching this one live. I remember I lost money because the All Blacks always go behind. Well, not always. They often go behind, and they always storm back. So when the game was ongoing, I could see the betting odds shifting, and I was like, this is a good time to put some money on the All Blacks. They're behind. They're definitely going to come back and win this one. Put some money on. Yeah, that didn't work out that well. Hey, Nathan. How's it going? Hans, good evening, man. 10 a.m. in Seattle. That's decent enough to be a drinking time. Wednesdays are my day off, so I can do late night streams. Nice. Wednesdays are not my day off. So I've got to go to work in a couple of hours, but that's all right. Up early. I usually get up, I don't know, 6, 7 anyway. Right. Link is in the description. I think we get cracking. I've only seen this game once, funnily enough. Right. I'm not sure if there's any halftime show. If there is, we'll skip the halftime show. Okay. Yeah, still working at home, but I've got to log on at like 7:30 at the latest. Anyway, right. Links in the description. 1 hour, 58 minutes. Let's get underway. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. These guys don't want to be that first team to lose to Ireland, but little do they know. Yeah, I am working at home, Mark. It's kind of a fortunate thing about my job. It's an office job, so I'm able to just do my job from home. It's not the same, but it is what it is. John King. Good morning, bro. This is sheer bloody madness. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. for me. And it's much earlier for you, John. I know that because you're in Australia. Good morning. Congratulations on getting out of bed for this one. Where are we? I've just started. So the game clock is at 25 seconds. You have a good feeling that Ireland might do it, Mark. This may be their day, man. Maybe. Finally get it done. After so many times of brutally coming close, this one, I think, may go a bit emphatically their way. How early is it in New Zealand? It is 5:02 a.m. I set my alarm for 4:45. I got out of bed, made myself 2 cups of coffee. One is in a thermos, one is in my cup, and I had 1 piece of toast. So I'm a bit shattered. And I'm a sucker for punishment because I'm going to punish myself by watching this game. But I've only seen it once. I know it's a brilliant game, so it's worth it. Good evening, Heinrich. How's it going in South Africa? For you South African guys, I've set up another stream for Saturday. It'll be morning for you guys, but I've got some Castle Lager and I've got some Biltong. So I'm ready to go for that one. 2 cups in 15 minutes. The other one's still in the thermos. Don't worry. I haven't drunk the second cup of coffee yet. I figure it's a 2-hour stream. I might need a second cup of coffee. Oh, early penalty to Ireland. Devin Toner sporting a bit more hair, I see there. Apologies, only Kiwi captain. The Kieran's first captain to lose to Ireland and the only captain to lose to Ireland. Yeah, it didn't work out that well for him, did it? But still, it's an epic. Cheers, Stephen. Hey, man. My lot are well. New Zealand is looking to move down its lockdown measures, so hopefully my kids will be back at daycare soon, and I will be primo. Should have just grabbed some more toast for the stream. Maybe I should have. I'll see how long that one piece of toast gets me through. I may have a second breakfast, I think. It's 3-0 to Ireland. They are scoring at a point a minute so far. 3-0 after 3 minutes and 30 seconds. How did the missus take the 4:50 alarm? I don't even think she noticed. I think she probably, because our bed has our daughter's cot next to it. I think my daughter woke up and came into our bed, so she's next to my wife. So my wife's probably in my spot now. She's probably loving the extra space. Hell of a crowd for this one, eh? There goes Naholo. Gonna check it. Only true beer in South Africa is Black Label. The rest is lagers. Okay. Castle Lager. Did you watch this live in 2016, man? Absolutely, I did. I absolutely watched it live. And every time New Zealand went a little bit further behind, the betting odds would change, and I would put a little bit more money on New Zealand to come back and win it. Getting ready to watch a movie with the missus. Sounds like a plan. Oh, Zebo's there. He's the one who makes the tackle. Looks like New Zealand's got a bit of luck, man. That was a messy try. I'm feeling it. Netflix and chill, Heinrich. I don't think that has quite the same meaning as sitting down and watching a movie somehow. Morning, Craig. I'm good, man. I'm still a bit bleary-eyed. after getting out of bed at quarter to 5, but not too bad. The game clock is at 4:50, and New Zealand have just taken a shot at a conversion. I was so scared from 2013. I was sure New Zealand would complete the comeback. Me too, bro. Me too. Absolutely. As I put more money on the All Blacks to win, I was drawing on that bit of history to give myself a bit more confidence. And the fact that we can score messy tries like that probably added to it as well, that we had a bit of luck. Rugby Pass uploaded the second British and Irish Lions South Africa test from 2009. Tim, I thought you were off. How's it, man? Yeah, I saw Rugby Pass uploaded that game. I think we might have to watch that at some point. That's the Ronan O'Gara final minute madness, isn't it? Oh, Carney with a silky little step on the holo. Oh, Trimble was playing. Yeah, true. I forgot about that. Considering the next Rugby World as you have to watch is now 2007. True, man. True. That would be a good watch. Some of the British and Irish Lions matches can actually be pretty hard to find on YouTube for some reason. Buck madness at the beginning, British and Irish Lions madness at the end. Last time British and Irish Lions lost the tour was in 2009. That's crazy if you think about it. I remember they were on a big losing run, and when they went to Australia and won that tour, there was talk if they don't win this tour, then the whole idea of the Lions needs to be questioned if they just keep losing. How was Saturday's stream? Bro, it was phenomenal. I probably had one beer too many, even though I only had 3 beers. Ooh. It's a bit of a dodgy tackle on Henshaw. I don't think you can be doing that. Have you been brave with your biltong selection? I got 2 types of biltong based on Chris's suggestion. He said, get the fatty steak one and get them to chop it. So I got a fatty steak, which I think is, I guess, normal flavor. And then I got extra hot chili. So, yes, I was brave. New Zealand didn't lose 2007 World Cup final. No, we lost before that. We didn't even make it to the final. Yellow card all day long. Fair enough. Moody is in the bin. No good luck. These days, that's a red. says Liam. I'm not actually here, just popped in while making the kids hot chocolate. Oh, good man. Wish someone would make me hot chocolate. What are your thoughts about the law change about scoring at the post protector? Has that been proposed? Hope you got a nice yellow fat biltong, otherwise you're wasting your time. I don't even know. I've never tried biltong, so I just got whatever they had. The shop is called Biltong Plus, so it seems like biltong is their thing. I'll trust them. Chili bites, get a case of milk with it. Extra hot chili bites as well. I don't think I can drink milk on stream though. Also, we all know Ireland are your second team, so you got to pop in and rip me. Fair enough. I don't know, man. New Zealand are still in front. They might do it this time. Yeah, not possible to score at the posts anymore. I would back that, man, because to be honest, scoring at the base of the post kind of grinds my gears. It's a pretty hard spot to defend. I prefer to see guys actually go over the whitewash. It just seems like a cheap move. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. They're checking it again. I suggested watching the Lions game to avoid having to watch the New Zealand exit from 2007. Yep. Already changed, really? How do you see the world rankings playing out over the next couple of years? All Blacks to retake number one, South Africa to dominate for the next few years. England seem to be off the boil. I think the South Africans, it'll depend on if Rassie decides to kind of between World Cups and not at the Lions tour, if he decides to not call so many of the big stars from abroad, if he tries to boost the depth from the local guys, they may end up losing a few games just giving those guys experience. The All Blacks always seem to be there or thereabouts, but who knows under Steve Foster, eh? Ian Foster. Too early in the morning. At least if you're going to watch a quarterfinal exit, you've got the right jersey on. Shots fired. No beers today. No, it is 5:17 in the morning, which I think is just a bit too early to have beers. Plus, I've got work after this. I mean, it's one thing you got to say compared to games, because I watched a game last week from 1996. They do faff about more nowadays, don't they? Maybe the TMO is a bit slower because it's an American production team, so maybe they're not as au fait with what the ref is looking for. It's 10 a.m. somewhere. Apparently, it's 10 a.m. in Seattle. Yeah, I reckon New Zealand might go through a lull if they don't do anything about the player exodus. Yeah, New Zealand need to do the same thing with all the guys heading overseas after the World Cup. They need to bring through the next lot of people. Who's the ref for this game? It's Matthew Raynell, I believe. Whoa, greetings from Melbourne. I can't believe I'm awake. Bro, if it's early here, almost 20 past 5, it must be extra early for you. They have awarded the try to Ireland, by the way. So 10 minutes and 10 seconds on the game clock. Ireland go in front, 8 points to 5. I have only ever seen this on the New Zealand stream, but the BT Sports guys have just started talking some smack about Beauden Barrett's boot. Fair enough, he missed the kick. Does Sexton get this one in return? He does. 10 points to 5. So it's Wednesday morning for you guys, Tuesday night here. What's the lotto number for future people? Yeah, I don't know, man. But it is Wednesday morning, indeed. I usually do these at 9 o'clock at night, New Zealand time, which makes it like morning for you guys, but horrendously bad for anyone in the Americas. Entertaining first 10 minutes, you have to say, yeah, man, you've had 2 tries and a penalty, so it's been a pretty good first 11 minutes and 40 seconds. A yellow card as well. It's been all go. Only 7:20 p.m. in Germany. Also, decent time to drink a beer. Also, doesn't help that the under-20s ABs New Zealand schoolboys began losing more often. I think that's one level of the game that's getting more competitive. I mean, I don't get to follow it that much, but people have been telling me even the Italian under-20s team has been pretty good over the last few years. So we may see a bit more variety in terms of guys coming through. Don't know. I don't see Rassi not looking at overseas guys in the games, but he might bring the local games back for the small games. Yeah, I'm thinking at least he'll mix it up. Because I think he's always wanted to give preference to guys based in South Africa. I think Bodie had the last laugh at the World Cup. Yeah, maybe. Especially the Aussie under-20s and Aussie schoolboys. Yeah. Who started at 9 for the ABs? It's Aaron Smith in this game, but they did mention that this game was his first one back after a while out because he'd had his little soiree in the toilet of the airport. So he'd been kind of dropped by the All Blacks for a few weeks for that indiscretion. $6.20 in Ireland. Wow. Definitely a good time to drink a beer. If you're watching this game, you got to have a beer in hand if you're old enough, surely. I'm curious to know at what point did the Irish guys actually, like fans, what time did you start thinking you're going to win? At 10-5, do you think you're going to win? Or do you think cautiously optimistic? Like if I was watching a game like, I don't know, the New Zealand football team, if they were 1-0 up against any team that was decent, I would still assume they're going to drop it. But I guess that's not a fair comparison because Ireland's always been a good rugby team. Don't know. Is Sean O'Brien playing? I'm not actually sure. Who is the back row for Ireland in this game? I think I saw Heaslip somewhere. The only thing I want the Box to win beside the Lions tour is the Freedom Cup. Wow, what's a kick. A less competitive ABs is a blessing in disguise for New Zealand rugby, in my opinion. More competitive games, more people showing up to away All Blacks games. Yeah, if the All Blacks lost the Bledisloe Cup, I think it would increase the interest in the Bledisloe Cup. As kind of horrible as that sounds from an All Blacks fan. RJ, how's it going, man? If you're watching, the game clock's at 15:42. It's still pretty early. 5:24 here. I've finished my first coffee. Hope you're doing well, man. Oh, Rob Carney's gone close. Another try. Brutal. The Smith scandal was 4 years ago. Yep, and people still call them toilets. That's one of his nicknames. So, yep. After Murray's try, I felt we were going to win. Okay. Because I remember there was a moment that I felt, oh, we're going to lose, but I can't remember what moment that was. Jonathan, how are you? I'm good. Stunder, Heaslip, and Murphy back row. Okay. That's a pretty good back row, to be fair. Wasn't till about 5 minutes to go before we believe we're going to win. Tears, memories, nice. Even in New Zealand, I think we felt like, wow, we just witnessed history. So, yeah. Ireland are making the most of this yellow card period, you got to say. They're on top by a mile. I want coffee, but then I won't sleep. Have a beer, bro, if it's 7:20. It's a decent substitute. Joe Moody's looking to come back on. He's missed a conversion. New Zealand rugby was and still is dependent on ticket sales from away games plus SANZAAR broadcast revenue. Yeah. We don't have enough locally to prop ourselves up, that's for sure. How many teams lost their coaches after the World Cup? Wales, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland. England didn't, Scotland didn't, Italy did. Oh, the All Blacks get warned. And Fiji lost their coach. Your video on the attendance was interesting. It proves my point, which I commented on a rugby page. Super Rugby 30% full equals England's 90% full. But how much better does 90% full look on a camera, man? I wish I had the full numbers for Super Rugby's games, though, because you could actually do a little bit more analysis than what's there. Lumping all the games together is still a bit murky. Closest thing I can think of to this Irish one was the Bock win in 2018. After Colby's intercept try, I firmly believed the Box would win it. Yeah, true. That's a similar one for New Zealand fans. Like, we just don't lose at home. I mean, I know we had the Lions game, but it was kind of like, well, that's the Lions. That's a red card game. Like, in my mind, anyway, that didn't count. Like, it still counted, obviously, but that didn't mean we were going to lose to South Africa, and then we did. Pretty brutal. Conor Murray is about 2 yards quicker back then. If he regains that sharpness, he might make the Lions. If not, he may not even make the Ireland 15. Yeah, at this point, he's probably about the best 9 in the world, eh? Maybe either this or the year after. Who do you think will win with the inland versus coastal games in South Africa? And our bottle stores are closed, so no beer. Oh, that's right. God, your bottle stores are still closed. Are they doing a game like that? I remember I did a video about different parts of South Africa having games against each other years ago. Basically, the de facto mode of operation is to drop your coach after the World Cup. Yeah, pretty much. They seem to set themselves up on a 4-year cycle, eh? At least. Purchase tickets for England v New Zealand in November at Twickenham. Don't think it will be played, but hopefully it will. Yeah, man, I hope so as well. I don't know, you could get tickets that early. That's pretty impressive. Broden Barrett just kicked the penalty, by the way, to put Dowders to his boot. It's 15-8 after 20 minutes and 40 seconds. It was weird because we didn't play England for such a long time. Like, we didn't play them for a couple of years. Then we had that really close game where we snuck a win, and then we had the World Cup game, which obviously didn't go our way. But, yeah, it'd be good to see us play England. I think it's supposed to be happening a bit more, isn't it, in the next few years? I've been to a packed Loftus, and it's a better atmosphere. Oh, and a better atmosphere I've not experienced yet. It's definitely preferable to have a full ground, man. Man, the All Blacks are looking on the back foot, hey. Oh, milked the penalty against Dane Coles. I hate that move, but you can't be there. You just can't be there. What happened to Ireland in 2019, in my opinion? Oh, it was weird. Like, it seems like Ireland in 2018 had a game-winning formula, but teams just seem to work it out a bit, and maybe Joe Schmidt didn't change things up enough. Like, the All Blacks may have gone too far. Like, they were hell-bent on playing 2 first fives, one at 10 and one at 15, so that they could kick more against a team like Ireland. But yeah, that seems to be a thing. Like, when England were putting all those balls through in the Six Nations in 2019 as well, they got a big win over Ireland. So yeah, it seems to just peak too early, man. If 2018 had been 2019, you never know. You'll beat us this time. Don't know, man. We'll see how Ian Foster goes. He's not had a game in charge of the All Blacks yet. Certainly in the top 2 for Conor Murray. Yep. Okay. Another penalty for Sexton. It's 18-8, 23-15. South Africa is planning a domestic tournament with a Big Six glorified Curry Cup, but it can only happen at level 1 lockdown instead of at level 4. Okay. I haven't been monitoring the global stats on the number of cases of COVID, but from the comments, people have told me South Africa is still not tracking that well yet. We were too slight. Irish teams get beaten up when push comes to shove too often. We don't have physicality 1 through 15 to 23. I'd say more the Irish strategy has been figured out. Plus, I guess some guys getting on. Sexton wasn't in the richest vein of form in 2019, right? Compared to previous years. Likewise, Murray. Like gone from World Player of the Year to being in and out injured. I mean, you can't control that. It just is what it is. Didn't England go through a similar phase, won 18 in a row, then won 3 in the next 10? Yeah, England under Eddie Jones for the first 2 years were virtually unbeatable. And then it just all went to custard. What's up, Mark? What is up? It's 5:34 was what is up. It's 25 minutes gone in the game. 18-8. It's funny because watching this back the second time, I can see, man, Ireland are really sharp. But at the time, I still didn't think 18-8. I didn't think the All Blacks were going to lose. Maybe that's a bit of arrogance. Maybe that's just the history. Humans like to look back at past events to tell them what's going to happen in the future, right? Even if it doesn't really have any bearing on it. Maybe that's a thing. England at Twickenham could well be Foster's first game in charge. That'd be a tough one to start off with. Not ideal. South Africa is not. We had like 2,000 more cases in the past 2 days or something. Wow. Yeah, New Zealand didn't have any yesterday. So we are so far tracking okay. But the government is still worried people are going to act like morons once we lower the lockdown levels so that people will start, having big parties and stuff. So they're still trying to keep it relatively controlled. Sexton collapses under the psychological pressure. I think I've seen games where he's like really risen to the moment and just taken absolute control, and then other games where it's just gone off the boil. So, I mean, with Bodie, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Geez, I forgot about this injury. It looks pretty bad. Wasn't Murray talking about retirement before the World Cup? That's not one that I can recall. Did you hear about New Zealand thinking about bunking the end-of-year tour? I've seen all kinds of rumors, man. I think everything's still up in the air at the moment. I was at this game and I felt the same. Oh, real. This would have been. This is history, man. If you went to this game, that's. Yeah, you can't. You can't replace that. Wasn't that when Scotland humped them at Murrayfield? Yeah. England had a really bad Six Nations. Didn't they come second to last? Hmm. Van der Fleer must be going to come on. I briefly saw an article that said international rugby games will be behind closed doors. Yeah, I guess it's just going to depend on how things develop. You can tell easily when New Zealand are being challenged. Half their team tends to vanish. Bock game in 18. This one, who's the fullback for New Zealand here? It's Ben Smith. England at the World Cup. I do feel like sometimes the All Blacks struggle when they are chasing games. If they go out and get a big lead, they're a pretty hard team to run down. But I mean, we have seen them chase down games before. Sometimes they pip them at the end. When are you watching the game? I'm watching it now. I've just not got it on my feed. The link's in the description. I'm at 20. Well, the match clock's stuck at 25:54, but there's a big injury, so the YouTube tracker is at 37:25. Green whistle. Graham Mendel over Ireland crying after this game. Again, man, it's a moment of history. It's proper history. You can't have a moment like this again. It only happens once. You either saw it or you didn't. England came fifth in 2018 with 2 wins over Italy and Wales. And then they went to South Africa, right? And they lost the first 2, won the third one. Thoughts on Rugby Club World Cup being played between the Lions and World Cup years? I think it's a decent idea. Maybe more than that Nations Cup, because I worry the Nations Cup gets a bit stale. Whereas if it's a Club World Cup, I mean, sure, you may get some of the same players there every year. The Crusaders will be there, Leinster will be there. I mean, Saracens won't be, but Exeter will probably be there, you know what I mean? But at least there'll be a bit of variety. It'll still be kind of fresh. It won't be every year. And it'll answer those questions. Who would win, the Crusaders or Leinster, that kind of thing. So, yeah. What a match. I love this game. I bet. I was saying earlier I lost money on this game because I was pretty sure at 18-8 New Zealand is still going to come back and do it. Didn't it happen 8 months later in Dublin? What happened 8 months later? Until this game, all of the countries had a better win record. Really? 1949? I have to check that one. I don't remember that. I haven't seen that stat before. How would a Club World Cup work out in regards to teams traveling to stadiums? Super Rugby is already difficult enough as. I think if they did have a Club Rugby World Cup, they would need to have a host. I think that's the only way it can work. It has to be an event that you plan to go to that stadium like a year in advance, something like that, maybe 6 months. Like the destination's already decided. I don't think it can be like Leinster comes to Christchurch, the Crusaders go to Dublin. I can't see that happening. I was at this one. Much love from the USA 2 cents. Man, this is you're the second guy who said you were at this game. I am infinitely jealous, even though this is not the best result for the All Blacks. Like, what's a game to have gone to, man? Ireland humping New Zealand. Oh, I thought I might have blocked that. What's funny about the 2008 game is that a lot of Kiwis believe it or not, said, in this game, we didn't have Sam Whitelock and we didn't have Brodie Retallick. That's part of the reason we lost. No way we're going to lose 2. Yeah, that was said. I heard why South Africa has so many positive tests per day. It's because our results take so long. They could be over the past few days. I see. Yeah, well, that's what our Prime Minister's kind of said about like how right now it looks like it's clear. Like, you know, we've had like 2 cases, no cases, different days. But they said if there is an outbreak, you might not know it for like 2 weeks because that's how long it can take to develop. Only live game I've been to besides Saracens Quins in middle school. Wow, that's a pretty good success rate in terms of picking good games to go to there, man. Timestamp at the moment on the YouTube tracker, it's at 43:15. The game clock's at 28:20. Zebo has just taken a pretty good kick under pressure. I was not at this game. I was crying on my couch at home in despair. I don't remember crying, but I remember being just stunned. I watched it with my old man, and he was just saying, good on Ireland, you know, better team. And most of New Zealand was like that, which was nice. It was refreshing. Oh, man. It's not going that well for New Zealand, is it? To be fair, in that match, I would say it was a fluke, but we had momentum after, and 2018 was not a fluke. 2018, yeah, was definitely not a fluke. I think that's what a lot of New Zealanders kind of said. Like, this game was a fluke. It won't happen twice. And then it happened. I've been to a few Super Rugby games at Nelson Mandela Stadium. Nice. Time in the game I'm on, I'm at 29:48 on the game clock, which is around 44:50 on the little tracker at the bottom of the YouTube clip. 2018 Ireland, I miss those days. It seems like a long time ago, man. That Ireland team went from world beaters to just mortal again pretty quickly. Scott Barrett's going to get his first cap in this game. Wow, what a game to make your debut. I had forgotten that little stat. And you hammered us in the World Cup. Well, yeah. I really think New Zealand set up their whole game plan to beat Ireland, which worked against Ireland, but then the next week it was pretty costly. They were determined to play Barrett and Mo'unga on the same team. They were worried about the Irish rush defence. They wanted guys to kick the ball and play. And, didn't happen. What was the first international I went to? It was All Blacks. Was it France? I think All Blacks France. Ages ago. But not that long ago in terms of my age. I think I was in either my late teens or 20s. Because my dad never went to internationals. He only ever went to Auckland or Blues games or club rugby games. You're wearing the 2018 jersey. It was either this jersey or the other one I've got is the World Cup jersey, but I figured this jersey is probably more fitting for this game, right? only been to 2 international Bok AB games in 2015, still got it over there, and third Bok game, France 2017. But I've been to a few Super Rugby games. Yeah, we should all probably get out to more games, at least those of us in the Southern Hemisphere. That video I did on the attendance the other day, a few people gave their reasons why they don't go to games: expensive tickets, no parking, expensive food, expensive beer. So yeah, there's definitely stuff that the people who run the game could be doing better to attract more bums on seats. I'm not saying we'll ever get 40,000 to a Super Rugby game, but geez, it'd be nice to get 20, eh? I know the odd crowd gets 20, like Newlands can still attract 20 plus, but oh man, New Zealand just looked disorganized. Same thing happened to Wales to a lesser extent 2019. Yeah, that's true. Wales go from pretty high to kind of medium in that year. I watched. Wait, what? I watched Super more than Prem while living in London in middle school. Weirdly, became a Canes fan 2016, watching them beat the Chiefs. True. What a dummy, man. Aaron Smith was sold down the river with that one. I don't get why our club side performs so well, yet the national side looks so blunt. That's a fantastic point, man. Look at the Irish sides in the Champions Cup and the Pro 14. Dominant. Man, 23-8. This is looking pretty bad. And England set up their whole game plan against the ABs, and the Boks just wanted to win regardless of the opposition. Yeah, that's another good point. England planned to beat the All Blacks, and it did work, but then the next week, not so much. It was a great time to be an Ulster fan. Ulster have been flying. Ulster are a fun team to watch. If you wanted to sell the game at the moment, that'd be a good team to try and sell someone to watch. Like Cooney is just excitement on two legs, that man. My first international was Eden Park. Yes, it was Eden Park. My dad virtually only ever took us to games at Eden Park or club rugby. My dad is that loud shouting at the ref, giving the opposition a whole bunch of grief. That guy's my dad, and he's not even drunk. Like my dad would only have maybe one beer in the game, but he would just shout for the majority of the time. Put me off going for a while. Once I think I was getting into my teenage years, I didn't want to be seen with him because people would stare at him. He was just giving the ref a bollocking the whole time. Underrated player in the World Cup. I'll have to think about that. That's a tough question for 5:52 in the morning. I think Super Rugby is more fun to watch. The one thing I like about the Premiership is the relegation battle keeps the bottom of the table interesting. Super Rugby doesn't have that. I tend to go one rugby game a year, but I'm still underage. Yeah, you need to get your dad to take care of your mum. One thing Vermeulen said when he came back to the Bulls is that here South African tickets are so expensive, so bump down ticket prices, you get more people at the game. I remember once he he complained on Twitter, so they sold a bunch of tickets dirt cheap, right? But yeah, in New Zealand, the tickets aren't particularly cheap either. Julian and Zebo were playing Time Flies. You're not kidding, man. Yep. Favorite moment of this was either Conor Murray and Simon Zebo clobbering Jules Sevilla into the dead ball zone, or young Joey Carberry kicking the goal. Funnily enough, after this game, there was a lot of talk about Joey Carberry's New Zealand connection. We're pretty good at that in New Zealand sometimes, is taking credit wherever we can, as long as it's a good news story. Like if Russell Crowe, who's an Aussie New Zealand actor, right? If he's doing something good, he's a Kiwi. If he's saying something nonsense, he's an Aussie. We're pretty good at picking and choosing who's Kiwi and who's not. Go Ben Smith. Can't get past Furlong. Barrett off his left foot. I picked the Sharks to support mainly because of the Springbok B team that seems to play for them. Sharks have been a good team. It's a good pick. My parents did that with my school rugby and judo matches. Yeah, true. It's embarrassing when your parents are yelling at you from the sideline. That's true. Your dad and I will get on. Great. You're exactly the same. Yeah. Yeah, my dad had a few good moments screaming at the ref mostly, but also the other teams, other fans. He's probably lucky he never got into a fight, honestly. Anything from Ireland in this game, but they played us at the perfect time. ABs just broke the record for most consecutive wins in a row. Point is the ABs were run down. Yeah, they were without two good locks. Maybe a bit overconfident playing in an exhibition style game, but yeah, Ireland so far have been clinical in this game. All Blacks have been less so. I know it's a very vague question, but what do you think about the state of Scottish rugby? Feels like we have a lot of talent, especially at club level, can't make use of it. It seems like a lot of the Scottish players get a lot of stick from the other guys in the Six Nations countries. I guess it's just because Scotland haven't had a proper Six Nations run for a while. But yeah, man, there's heaps of talented Scottish players. It does kind of boggle my mind when I see them. I see the team sheet. I think, was it last year when they went away to play France and they were just terrible. I couldn't understand it. It made me kind of blame the coach a bit sometimes because I feel like they do underperform. Oh, another turnover. This is painful. Why did I pick this game to watch again? I would actually like South African teams to do promotion, relegation, Super Rugby, performing. Oh, they did that for 1 or 2 years, right? Carberry's dad is from Wellington. I think he spent 5 years living there. Yeah. And if you would believe the New Zealand media after this game, he is a true blue Kiwi, even though it's usually true blue Aussie. Yeah, you would think he's absolute Kiwi. He's as Kiwi gets after this game. Oh, boy, do we claim him. Ticket for Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein is about $3 US. What's that like in local currency though? Like, what can you buy for that same price? Like, I think to buy a cheap ticket to Eden Park for a Super Rugby game is 20 something dollars, which is more expensive than going to the cinema, and the prices of the beers are a lot more. Like, to get a beer and like a punnet of chips, maybe like a hot dog, you're looking at again another 20-30 bucks, I guess. Like, you could do a lot more with that money if you didn't fancy going to the stadium. It makes the couch a lot more attractive anyway. Man, that scrum was a perfect scrum. 25-8 at halftime. I'm pretty sure at this moment I'm checking the odds and putting money on the All Blacks. I'm like, they're definitely going to come back. Oh, you can hear the game. All right, I'll turn it down a bit. Isn't the Scottish Rugby Union CEO the best paid in world rugby? Yeah, that seems like a bit of a joke, doesn't it? I don't know why, but I wasn't impressed with Retallick last year. Few guys who didn't have their best years last year. Leinster v Crusaders, who you got? Crusaders, maybe, because I'm a Kiwi. Though they did look a bit more mortal after the World Cup. They lost a few players. Is this a halftime show, or are they going to... This looks like it's going to go through a full halftime thing, doesn't it? Blimey, you are up early, Mark, says Wallace. But you buy yourself an All Black mask, stay safe, stay home, save lives. Cheers, Wallace, man. I'm about to open my second coffee. Yes, it's 96. I think if this is a halftime show, I think I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip to the next bit of game time. Has anyone got timestamp? Oh, yeah. It looks like at 1:02 and 8 seconds, they're about to kick off for the second half. Wallace, I don't have a beer, by the way. It's 6 a.m. now. Been up for just over an hour, so I'm going to pour from this Buzzy Bee thermos my second coffee of the day. But good morning. Yes, stay home, save lives. Be nice to people. We all need that at the minute. Right, I'm skipping ahead to 1:02:08, and I'm going to start the second half. It's about 60 Rand. Local currency, you could easily get food for a week. It's like 100 Rand per ticket. So, okay, so it's a decent bit of coin. We get so pissed off with the national team in Scotland. We've got more quality in more positions than we've had in years, but there's no consistency. Yeah. Why did you guys get rid of Vern Cotter? I feel like he could have done more than Townsend. What about Saracens v Crusaders in Jerusalem? Now that would be the game of all time, wouldn't it? I wonder if they've got a rugby field in Jerusalem. I wouldn't have thought so. Maybe a McD's burger, but not a full meal, at least over here. Okay. Also, doesn't rugby have a reputation of being a bit posh in private school boys in Scotland? Isn't it like that in Ireland and Scotland and England as well? And Australia? The way the Scottish do certain things grinds my gear, says Nathan. Carberry has a cross between a Dublin and a Kiwi accent. Yeah, he spent a few of his years in New Zealand, right? Wasn't he like 12 or something when he went back? So enough to start forming an accent. But he learned all his rugby in Ireland. I felt a bit disappointed in the Kiwi media for basically saying he was full blown Kiwi. A service station coffee on Adam, bro. I'll take it, man. This is just packet coffee, so that'll buy me a couple of those. Thank you, sir. Oh, Craig, get a bottle of Pinotage for you and the missus. All right, man. I haven't tried the old Pinotage. It was recommended to me in the last stream. Thank you, sir. I will try and do some. Did I get this on YouTube? Yeah, I'm watching on YouTube. The link should be in the description of this stream. The game clock is at 42:50. New Zealand are 25-8 down. And believe it or not, at the time, I'm still pretty confident the All Blacks are going to come back and win it. Despite what I've just seen in that first half, which was pretty good from Ireland and not so from the All Blacks, I still had the utmost confidence the All Blacks were going to win this. I keep hearing Scottish fans complaining about how players from certain Scottish regions keep getting chosen. That seems to be a common story from every place, isn't it? About the politics that go on behind some of the selections. Oh, maybe Squire should have let that one go. To be fair, the All Blacks almost did come back. I remember the All Blacks kind of getting a flurry of points, right? And that really made me very sure the All Blacks were going to come back and win it. I probably put more money on the All Blacks. And then it didn't happen. Oh, Evan. Be keeping me sane with all the great content. Thank you for all you do. Classic match. Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate that. It's been keeping me sane as well. And doing these live streams is kind of the closest that I can have a beer with the boys or a coffee if it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. This is probably one that I should be drinking for, but it's good that it's a time zone where the Irish boys can have a wee drink as well. Yes, it's the posh boys, but I'm not one. I'm about as country as you come. Fair enough. Yeah, it's weird though. Over here, I would say, what's the posh sport in New Zealand? Like maybe cricket, because you need to have more gear to play cricket. You need to buy a bat and pads and whatnot. Whereas rugby, you can just kind of show up and they will give you a shirt. Like maybe soccer, but not really. Soccer is only really big here up until about, I don't know, a certain age group level, probably around secondary school. Not many people continue playing soccer after that age, I don't think. Come on, Ireland. I think they might get it done. They're doing all right. 25-8 after 45 minutes. Although me in 2016 is not thinking that way. I'm going to be joining you on Saturday with a brandy. Good, man. I'll have a six-pack of Castle Lager, although I only promise to get through 2 or 3 of those. I just Googled it. Apparently, there is a rugby stadium in Jerusalem. Wow. How many does it seat, if any? Or is it just a standing one, standing room only? Horse riding, true enough. If you own a bloody horse, then yeah, you're probably pretty well to do. Anything equestrian is very posh. Rugby league is posh, bro. Just saying what you're all thinking. Not sure about that. I think even in New Zealand, rugby league is kind of more of a working class game than other sports. All Blacks versus Springboks this year would have been special, indeed. You never know. Give it 6 months, or a bit of a high tackle on Carney. All Blacks discipline's not been good. What do you think about the new base of the post tries? Which you know more. How did I not hear about this? Someone else mentioned that as well. That one totally slipped by me. I don't have a problem with it because the base of the post tries have always kind of bothered me. I know it's supposed to be a continuous plane or something where you can score a try, but it's hard to not be offside when defending the post. So we may see fewer tries because of it, but I think it makes the game a bit easier to understand for a non-fan. Can you imagine having to try and explain that rule to somebody who wasn't a fan? Yeah, I like that change, to be honest. These live streams are the only matches I can watch. For some reason, I can't stand rewatching games by myself. When I know what's going to happen, I was able to watch a couple of box games. Usually, I'm the same way. Like a lot of these streams have been massive matches. And the first thing I say when I start watching them is, I've never seen this game more than once. Because it's not. It's hard to watch a game when you know the result. But when you got a few of the boys around, there may be a drink. Boys and girls. There's always a few girls in the stream as well. Yeah, it makes it a bit more interesting. And to be honest, you do see different stuff the second time you watch a game, for sure. Like, in my mind, I don't remember Ireland being this good when I first watched this game. Not trying to throw any shade at Ireland, but just look at that. Zebo just scored. Like, I knew Ireland were better than us on the day, but I don't remember them being this good. They are just absolutely clinical. They're making the All Blacks look bad. Rugby's not really that posh in Scotland. 90 of the players in Scotland are from small towns outside Edinburgh and Glasgow. If you hear Hogg or Russell speaking, they have broad accents. Okay. That's an interesting factoid for me. What's a posh sport in South Africa? They just announced the new law a few hours ago. I would have been in bed when that happened, no wonder. Horse riding or golf is quite posh. Yeah, true. Golf is posh. That's true. Same with cricket. Maybe it's an issue with England, as football is definitely working class and more followed sport, but I think rugby has been shifting in the past few years. It always seemed weird to me that the game, like from New Zealand, the game where there's physical, almost violence, is the posh game, and the game where the guys flop around is the working class game. I would have thought it would have been the other way around from a New Zealand perspective. Cricket is universally popular across all the Indian subcontinent and Australia. Cricket is pretty popular, you got to admit, and pretty posh. But you need a lot more conditions for a cricket game to be played. You got to have a lot more equipment. You got to have a pitch. Generally, the more equipment you need, the more posh the game, right? True, the pads are massive, and it was brought in the first thing. It was tiny, yeah. I like to watch Super Rugby matches in quarantine because I don't watch Southern Hemisphere stuff, so I don't know the result. Good point. Tennis and hockey, posh. I think tennis is more posh than hockey. Again, tennis, you need to have a court, you need to have a net. The more equipment you need, generally, the more money you need to play it. Say hello to Mrs. Wallace for me, please. She's still working next to me on the couch. Good morning, good evening, Mrs. Wallace. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying at home. It sounds like it if you're working from the couch. That's the best place to be right now. What does posh mean? Posh is kind of more like upper class. I haven't seen this game yet, only the highlights. I get where you're coming from. The box playing like the Bloomin' 2016-17 Lions and AB's 2014. All Blacks have had mistakes, but it's not just that. In this game, Ireland have just been, apart from a couple of missed kicks, they've just been in such good form. Brutal. I think at 30-8, I'm starting to doubt. But having seen that game in 2013 where we came back and won it with that last kick, still kind of believing in my heart of hearts, we can sneak a win. Yeah, England is a weird country, mate. Well, we all kind of got our weird moments. Right, 51 minutes. Perinara has just come on and scored a try. And I'm definitely thinking the All Blacks, their comeback is starting here. Dane Coles with the offload. What's a try? I enjoy seeing the All Blacks win games, unless it's against South Africa, of course. Glad, though, both teams are back on top 3 of the world. The All Blacks are generally, I think, a pretty fun team to watch, right? Unless you're the team playing against them when they beat you. I can enjoy watching other teams perform, that's for sure. Believe it or not, I mean, as I'm watching this, I can still appreciate what the Irish guys are doing. It's still a little bit painful to see Zebo go over in that corner and to see Murray go over. It's a little bit fresh, but it's still a good watch. And cricket, there's the weather as well, driving me out when I played. Yeah, I used to play cricket when I was a kid, and it was kind of annoying looking out the window. Is it going to rain? Maybe drive all the way somewhere, and then the game's called off because it's too wet. Yeah, pretty frustrating. I remember sitting by the radio waiting to see which games were called off. Conor Murray and TJ Perinara giving each other a bit of lip. Can't score at the base of the padded post anymore. Just heard from World Rugby. Yeah, you're the third person to mention that. I hadn't heard it either. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. I've never been a fan. Bro, is this the Blues year? Definitely the Blues year. Quote me on that. Every year's our year, though. The AB snuck a win 30-13 down with 15 minutes against the Box at Loftus. I remember that game. The Box made a few last-minute substitutions who got blamed for the loss. Shame Ireland can never play good in the quarterfinal. It is, man. I've talked about it before, but I think partly that's up here. And if an Irish team can finally get past the quarterfinal, I think that'll sort them out for World Cups going forward. There has to be a team that does it. If they got the All Blacks monkey off the back, surely they can get the quarterfinal monkey off the back. The year Liverpool was going to win the Premiership and when the South African team was the top of the log. Yeah, I know, man. It's see if they can get some of the sports back on track. We'll see. But the world just needs to get better at the minute anyway. Have you watched British and Irish Lions vs Springboks, the one on Rugby Pass a few days ago? I have not, but I am pretty sure I will end up doing a live stream with that one, because I know that's a pretty brutal one at the end for O'Gara, but cracking game. Man, they just put Xavier into touch. Who was that? Was that Trimble? I'm more used to seeing him on the House of Rugby now than actually playing rugby. Craig enjoyed that. I think Ireland should have got the 2023 World Cup instead of France. I can't remember how the voting went for that one. Hopefully I can go to that World Cup. I've never been to one apart from 2011. Save some money. Stop buying bloody rugby jerseys. Okay, this is looking a bit better from the All Blacks. TJ has always been very vocal. Bro, he is a 9. That's what they do. Blues also are playing this well this year. What an offload. What a try. Got to give that one. All good. The time is on the game clock. It's 55:32, but the clock is paused, so the YouTube tracker at the bottom of the clip is at 1 hour 20 minutes and 40 seconds. Score is 30 points to 15. The TMO is having a look at a potential Ben Smith try in the corner, or is he out? I can't remember if this is a try or not. Is it a try? I'm a Bulls fan, so I'm happy that we aren't playing because people can stop giving you lip. Highveld fans are pretty happy that the season got called off. Try time. Yeah. I think right now, me in 2016 is absolutely convinced we're going to come back and win this. Can we please watch the game with South Africa and New Zealand draw in Wellington? I don't think it's on. It's not on YouTube. I tried looking for the 2018 South African win and the draw, and neither of them seem to be on YouTube. This Red World Rugby have brought into immediate effect. You cannot score a try by placing the ball at the base of the post. Yeah, the fourth one to mention that. I had no idea before the stream started. I can't say I'm upset. That's one of those weird laws that the game doesn't need. I'm sure you can't do that in rugby league. Like, rugby league likes to keep stuff. And what a kick from Bodie, by the way. Sideline. Keep the barrier to new fans low. That law didn't need to be there. Smith was out. How dare you, Craig? Try time. Benefit to the attacking team. Benefit of the doubt. No worries, Tim. I didn't know either. Do you think that any team will beat the Australian points difference against the All Blacks in the foreseeable future? I'd have to say no, because that was a miracle match in itself. But in sports, you never really know. There is every game from Maya and Kutsia's era against the All Blacks in full as well. The one I've got set up for Saturday is a good one. It's a real close one. From Peter de Villiers' era, I think. How's the alcohol chat been at this time of the morning? Not too much on the alcohol chat. A little bit about some brandy, some Pinotage beers, but maybe a bit less than normal. I'm still on my second coffee. I haven't heard my kids get up yet. It's 6:24, so not too bad so far. I think if the two disallowed tries from the England versus All Blacks World Cup game were counted, it would have been a record defeat. Let's not go there. That game was what it was. That game's on YouTube if I decide to relive that one. Thanks for World Rugby for putting that one up. They haven't put the final up, but they put that semi-final up. Bit of a momentum stopper with that kick. Good time to get a penalty, to be fair, for Ireland, because the All Blacks were just starting to build. I think the reason everything is the way it is now is because the Brumbies were doing so well this year and the world doesn't know what to do. And your opinion on the new All Blacks captain? I think he's a solid, without being spectacular choice, right? He's a workhorse player. There's argument whether he's the best guy in his position, but he's a very stable leader. He's a loose forward. We seem to like making captains from the loose forwards. So he's been captain at the Chiefs. Yeah, I think it's pretty. He's like the right age where he can see out one World Cup cycle. So yeah, I think it's solid without being spectacular. But it was always going to be him or Sam Whitelock, I think. So they were never going to go for some left field, like young player. We should definitely watch that semi-final, says Tim. Oh, I found the 95 final pretty fresh to watch and kind of brutal. So imagine going back to watch last year's semi. Oh, I'll think about it. See how long lockdown lasts, man. We may have some rugby by that point. Mark's a bit salty about that semi. Yeah, it's just still a bit fresh, man. Again, it's a game where we got fairly beaten, but I'm not sure I want to relive that one yet. I would actually argue yes, the Box, if it wasn't for a couple of injuries to Faf and Villy, would have got the record in 2018. But as we know, the subs happened and the Box lost. Yeah, that was an almighty collapse. That one. Final has been on YouTube here since last November. What? Someone told me the other day that the final's not on YouTube. Or at least maybe it's just not on World Rugby's official YouTube. I think World Rugby is still salty about the final. The final never happened for Tim. Yeah, they called the World Cup off, huh? After the quarterfinals, right? 61 minutes. 33-22. It's still kind of anyone's game. Turnover for the All Blacks. Here they go. Irish have just knocked it on in their own half. Maybe it's a chance for the ABs. What do I think of the Umbro England deal? To be honest, man, that caught me by surprise. I think I had read things about Canterbury losing the England deal a while back. But Umbro, like when I think Umbro, I'm thinking soccer from the 2000s. I'm not thinking rugby. I know I've read since that they've made rugby gear before, but it's not a brand that I associate with rugby. I'll buy their jersey, man. I'll buy it. I want to see what kind of quality it's like. So yeah, but it's a bit of a random one. How do you reckon Bodie will go for the Blues team of mine this season? You're betting he'll be fullback. Leon McDonald said the other day that he might be a little bit behind the other guys because he's not had any games this season, so he might not be quite as sharp. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they ease him in from the bench and then chuck him at fullback. He may make his way to 10 eventually, but the season's not going to be that long. My uncle's British and the whole family are South African supporters because the rest of the team have South African blood. What's going to be the Saturday game? Saturday is going to be All Blacks against South Africa from Dunedin when we still had Carisbrook Stadium. And is it Carisbrook? What a try. Try on debut. This at this point, if you're an Irish fan, you're watching this, you got to think that the All Blacks are going to win it. Surely. You got to be cursing it, thinking it's history repeating itself again and again. Barrett will be on the wing. Blues already have a fly half, at fly half, a centre, and fullback. Hi, Wisa. Mandela Effect is an alternative reality that started in 2012. The All Blacks coming back in the second half. You're not wrong, man. But yeah, I was saying Saturday is going to be All Blacks Springboks from Dunedin in the Tri Nations. I think 2008. It's a close game. I've got my Castle Lager and my Biltong ready. I haven't even tried the Biltong. I'm saving that for the stream. If you want to see some live sport, the UFC have an event tomorrow night. That's true. One of the guys tested positive for COVID beforehand, though, right? So they had to pull off him from fighting. $29.33. How on earth did the All Blacks get back in this position? They were dead and buried for a while. When are you going to watch the 2007 World Cup final? Maybe next week or the week after. I'll see. I kind of want to watch the All Blacks against Scotland from 2017 because that's another close one. Right now, I'm feeling pretty good about those bets that I made on the All Blacks to come back and win. Cole's just took a quick throw. Oh, Xavier just needed to hold that ball. Watch Ireland v Wales 2009. Is it on YouTube? Are you going to watch France v Wales 2011? That could be a good one as well. That's a controversial game. I'm thinking about watching that England-Italy game where they did that offside rule thing, just because I don't think I've ever seen that game in full. The UFC was great on Saturday. Justin versus Tony was unexpected for me. I didn't even see the results of that one. Does anyone know of any highlights of South African games 2014? Yes, a lot of them that are missing from YouTube, man. As a Kiwi, were you quietly happy for Ireland? I think most of us were pretty happy, to be honest. Like, even we could appreciate the magnitude of the occasion. And I like to think when we get beaten by a better team, I think we're pretty good at taking it. I think recent results, this one, the semi-final against England, the box in Wellington, like maybe that game they blamed the All Blacks for not taking a drop goal. But yeah, I think generally when we get beaten by a better team, we're not too unhappy. If it's a close one and there's a refereeing call that goes against us, then we will moan until the cows come home. But yeah, this one you couldn't help but admire the Irish guys, man. I think most of the country was kind of quietly pleased. Yeah. Watch England Scotland 1871. Is that one on YouTube? Is it 1080p or is it 4K? Ireland versus Wales 2009 is on YouTube. Is it a good game though? I'll write it down. So many games to watch, so little time. Ben Smith just getting around CJ Stander. Dublin 2018. Oh, man, you might have to give me a little bit between that. 2017 game, Murrayfield captain gets knocked out. Deliberately 5 minutes to go and wasn't carded. Part of the reason I want to watch the 2017 game is, if memory serves, I don't think I watched it live. I think I decided to have a good sleep for whatever reason. And I remember getting up in the morning to the news that, bloody hell, that was close. So I don't think I've seen it. Now, how long until Trimble retires after this game? Can't be that long, eh? You missed Charlie. Yeah, he's still in France. After quarantine finishes, will you keep this going? I think that might be an idea. Like I'm enjoying watching the old games, and like I said before, I wouldn't be doing it if it weren't for having you guys around. So it might be a thing to do. France versus England 2015 during the Six Nations was a spectacular one. Is it on YouTube though? Get yourself a DeLorean with a flux capacitor and enjoy every single rugby match ever played. I was just thinking about going back in time and taking illnesses to the past, but that's probably not an appropriate thing at the minute. I remember Eddie Jones having a fit after the Italy game despite a big win. The rule change that cost them win versus the All Blacks 2018 November tests. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I remember his interviews after that game. That, like, he was saying, that's not rugby. You can't ask me about the rugby game because what we've seen is not rugby. It's not rugby, not rugby, not rugby. Yeah. You already watched the the Ireland Wales 2009 game. Oh, is that the game they're thinking of? That's the O'Gara kick. Oh, is it that one? It's a bit embarrassing. I can't remember my own games that I watched. Oh, and it's the missed Welsh kick at the end, right? Wales had a chance right at the death, and that kick misses. That game. Yeah, I did watch that one. Imagine Nigel Owens a ref for soccer. Yeah, I don't think he could handle it. Man, there's less than 10 minutes to go. And yeah, I think I'm still pretty confident New Zealand are going to win it at this point, man. 4 points down against Ireland. We've seen this story before. The All Blacks always come back to win it. It's only a matter of time, surely. It was a cracking game. I was there, says Craig, for 2017. And I'm at Italy Ruckgate for the Bizarrest game. Yeah, if that's on YouTube, I wouldn't mind watching that one because, like I said, I've only seen the highlights of it. Eddie's nose was well out of joint after that game, indeed. Yes, Six Nations 2015 matching the fronts on YouTube, but be careful. There's also preparation matches before Rugby World Cup. Okay, so Six Nations 2015. England and France. On Saturday, are you going to be wearing the South African jersey? I usually wear the jersey of the team that wins the game. I'm going to have Castle Lager and Biltong. That might be a clue. The O'Gara drop goal to win the Grand Slam. The missed penalty last kick of the game. Yes. Okay. I didn't remember the year. Oh, the All Blacks have just knocked on at the base of the ruck. But yeah, that game was phenomenal. Even for me, at the end of that game, I didn't realize it had been like such a long time for Ireland to get a Grand Slam, but I'm a complete neutral, and it's so many years after the game. But that last kick when it missed was breathtaking. That's like proper drama. That's what you want from a game, man. It's all looking good for the All Blacks at the minute. They're in possession. Only 4 points down. Still 7 minutes to go. That's enough time. Do you play Virtual Rugby World Cup on Super Brew? I'm from Germany. I got an invite from G-Man about that. Can you tell me about it? What is the Virtual World Cup? I haven't read the email yet. I just saw the email notification pop up before I went to bed last night. Oh. Savia knocked it on the left wing earlier. They've just thrown a ball into touch. Maybe the pressure is starting to get to the All Blacks. Liam Squire with that pass. And Trimble's the guy who put him on his ass. He's having a good game. What I remember most about that game was Ireland stood during the haka, the shape of a number 8, in tribute to Anthony Foley. Ireland's Grand Slam was 2009. Yeah, true. This feed started after that had happened. They started pretty much with the kickoff. So, but they did show it a little bit during the halftime moment. So, yeah. That was a shock, that Anthony Foley thing. Trimble retired from international rugby 2017, then from Ulster 2018. I remember being annoyed because he was injured, so never got a send-off. Oh, that's unfortunate. I do like watching him on House of Rugby, so I guess he's still there at least. A couple of South African versus New Zealand Cavaliers games were on YouTube. They were brutal. Wow. When's the first Super Rugby game in New Zealand? I think it's June 13. And listen to the crowd. You can see the Irish fans are on their feet, and there's still 6 minutes to go. They're only 4 points up. They've had their hearts broken in games like this before, and yet you can still see they believe it. Oh, Savia's just been caught in goal. Man. Fekito passes it to Savia. He probably just needed to hoof it. Right, kids are in bed, but I'm going to play Forza. No point trying to watch this game. Enjoy your racing, man. 5 minutes to go. Ireland are 4 points up. Are you going to watch the Super Rugby? Yeah, I will, man. I definitely will try and watch the games. 5 meter scrum, Ireland. I think that's the moment I knew this game was done. Even Henshaw has got a wee grin. Man, what a try. Brutal. There's a fair bit of noise in the stadium now. You are not kidding. Is it just me, or did Ireland also change their game plan against Japan? That's a game I'll have to go back and watch. Irish fans won't be watching that one. Yeah. Carberry, what's a kick to make it 40? Man. What a try. Did you try and change your bets after that try? Nah. Nah. The terms and conditions do not allow you to change a thing. 40 points. Ugh. What do you think about the tries that come from cross kicks? Bodie likes to do those cross kicks. He does. Cross kick tries are always fun to watch. It's a pity we didn't get both Barretts, like in terms of getting Geordie, because he's a big man. He's good in the air. That'd be a good guy to have Bodie cross kicking too. Another penalty. Man. A minute and a half to go. Are you an XL for jerseys? Generally either an XL or a 2XL. I kind of float between them, depending on what the manufacturer is. If it's one that I'm not sure, I generally go 2XL, but sometimes they're a bit big. But I guess better a bit big than a bit small. During lockdown, with the food I'm eating, maybe I should be going 2XL, to be honest, because I'm not getting as much in the way of activity as I would have otherwise. Push that one wide. Macron. Oh, my Scotland one is Macron. I think it's XL. You should be used to more often always watching these games live. I always notice there's a mountain of space on the wings and they try and pass it to get where, which is slow. True enough. Man, I miss playing but had shoulder surgery and I have an old Bulls flag to add to the box flag I'm sending you. Bro, awesome. Flick me an email. Artie is a player that just never take a step back regardless of the score. That is true. I think if the All Blacks had picked him for captain, there would have been some buzz in New Zealand about, whoa, they picked Artie Savi as captain. That's like a dynamic step forward. This game's pretty much done. Watch Ireland versus Australia from the 2011 World Cup. They played whichever city in New Zealand must have the most Irish people there. Bro, I went to that game. I was at that game. That game was magic. 40 points to 29. This game is over. Oh, what a result. Villain, man, how's it going? I've just watched the All Blacks get beaten by Ireland, 40 points to 29. The All Blacks guys look absolutely shattered. Why wasn't Coles captain? Coles might be a little bit too fiery to become All Blacks captain. He's got a bit of a temper. Man, the All Blacks guys just looked. Look at Kieran Reid. He knows, man. And the Irish guys are doing pretty well to keep that in check as they do the handshakes. When we stunned the Ireland Aussie game, even at 9 years, I knew that game wasn't supposed to happen. True. Sad the World Schools Festival's cancelled. Yeah, I know, man. It's just that time. It's just that time with the world. Everyone's got to take care of themselves, and sports takes a backseat. Yep. Take it easy, Craig. All right, guys. I think I better go check on my kids to see if they are awake. It's almost 7 o'clock, which is the time they get out of bed. But yes, as Sip Kiwi says, well-deserved Ireland. I actually think I'm more impressed with that the second time round. Like, Ireland were just bloody good in this game. Just too good. And New Zealand, too many mistakes, but still. Mistakes come from pressure, so yeah. Have fun at work. Yep. Here's my work. I'm going to go there in a minute. Turn that on. But yeah, you guys take it easy. Cheers for those of you who got up early. Otherwise, for those of you who are about to go to bed, enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Take it easy. And yeah, Saturday will be the normal time, which is 9 p.m. New Zealand time. So the morning for those of you in Europe or South Africa. If you're in the Americas, you'll probably be in bed. But yeah, take care. Evening for Australia as well. But yeah, take care. Stay safe. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Cheers, guys.